Hello everybody! Welcome to another Nicaragua video. As you can see, I'm not dead. I'm totally fine, in fact. My life has been really great. Ever since I came to Nicaragua, my life changed a lot. But now that I've been here I first came here like 6 years ago. I've been living here for a while at this point, right? I feel confident that I can give you one thing to help you understand if Nicaragua is a good country for you to come to or not. Okay? So as you've seen, I haven't been making content. I made a video about sort of why this is, but I actually am running another YouTube channel and doing other things. But I haven't been making Nicaragua videos. And there is actually reason for this. And I'm going to use this opportunity to teach you about it. Okay? So the title of this video is I'm Not Dead. And I want to point out, why is it that when I made a video, my last video, go watch it, I say I'm not going to be making content for a while. I literally explain that, okay? Why is it that people keep reaching out to me, convinced something happened to me, that I was shot or killed? I've had people in seriousness reach out to me thinking something went horribly wrong. But obviously not. I'm okay. I'm right here. Hello. But why is this? Why do people think that I am in danger? This is what will determine whether you stay in Nicaragua or it doesn't work for you. It all boils down to one unfortunate reality, okay? And it's all about how you feel. I'm not going to say what's right or wrong, but you're going to see how I feel. I'm not saying this is how you need to feel, but I understand now what makes things work here and what doesn't. And here's the kicker. It's all about whether you believe the United States gets involved with government overthrows, or you believe that the image of democracy is pretty accurate. I'm not going to chastise you for thinking one way or the other. I'm sure you have very many reasons to feel the way that you do. But in all honesty, if you believe that the United States does not meddle in other countries and does not initiate and finance coup attempts to overthrow the government, don't come to Nicaragua. Go somewhere else. I don't mean to be offensive, but when you study the history of Nicaragua, it all makes perfect sense. And so I will share a little bit about the history and what my people, I am an American citizen. I pay a third of my income to the United States government. So yes, I live in Nicaragua, but I am indebted for the rest of my life until I set up a business and do other things to not pay taxes. But for now, I owe a third of my income to the foreign government of the United States. Even though I reside in Nicaragua, I get access to healthcare that I couldn't afford in my own country. I am treated like I am trustworthy just because my skin is white and I look like a foreigner. Nicaraguans take me seriously when I speak about certain subjects, such as earning money online and education and history. Yet in my own country, nobody would take me seriously. I'm just a fool. My experience has been one where I had all of these problems and I was suffering and life felt hopeless, and I was able to come live in Nicaragua and everything changed. My life became so incredible, and it still is. But this has come at a great toll I've learned too much. I've seen what we've done. And I'm so sorry. I am so sorry to the Nicaraguan people. I'm so sorry to all of the families who are being torn apart because we have propagandized the youth into thinking that it is their government's fault, when really their government is doing everything they can to protect their people against an abusive superpower who has done nothing but harm Nicaraguan people and lie. And it is so heartbreaking for me to look into the eyes of young Nicaraguan people and see that they don't know. They don't know what we've done. And what we've done is so horrible that it makes you question everything we stand for. I won't talk about political parties. I won't talk about the current happenings. I will just illustrate what I have learned about what we have done here. And for some reason, I feel responsible. It is so wrong that me, a foreigner from the very country who perpetrated these crimes, can come here and have a better life than the very local people who reside in the country. It is so heartbreaking to see. I've looked into the eyes of many young Nicaraguan people, and they don't know. They don't know who we really are. They don't know what we have done and continue to do to this very day. I will tell you a phrase. The phrase is making a martyr. So, we distributed training resources to the freedom fighters, the Contras. This is the imagery we like to peddle in the United States, that these people had a plan, had some ethics. Well, let me tell you something. We distributed training resources to these Contras, yes? And within these training resources is a phrase referred to as making a martyr. And we advised to hire assassins to kill your friends, your allies, and to blame it on the Sandinistas. And this is only one part of a very juicy manual. It is called The Psychological Operations of Guerrilla Warfare, written by Diacom, which is the CIA handler at the time. What's so fascinating about this is that we published it, right? But we put some black boxes around the things that make us look really bad. And I have been cursed to see what is behind these things. And it breaks my heart. Because I have lived here long enough to see what is, and I can tell you, I have met many Nicaraguan police. I lived outside where military officers were on guard within viewing distance of my window for years. And the police here, they are scared to hurt, to shoot another person. There are videos online of people drugged and aggressive, a person with a knife, trying to attack. And the police don't shoot him in time, and he stabs one of them. This is how much respect people here have for basic human life. What you see online is an absolute falsehood. We are waging war on Nicaragua to this very day. And I ask you, how is it that we focus on Nicaragua being the violent country where they killed hundreds of protesters? It's true that did happen in 2018. But I'm going to share something even scarier that you probably haven't heard about, but you can go look up yourself, okay? It's the prisoner exchange. Honestly, when this happened, I thought maybe it wasn't us. I thought maybe this is just people being so fed up that they made a fuss. I believed it. Or wanted to believe it. But then, around a year ago, there was a prisoner exchange, not exchange, a gift. The United States took around 203 political prisoners from Nicaragua. Interesting. Now, I don't know all of history, but I know that we rarely bring the political prisoners from a country into our country. This is a very unusual event. It's not typical at all. So I won't tell you what I believe. I'll just tell you in 2018 there was a lot of violence. People died and were shot. And then, a year ago, the United States took most of the prisoners that were arrested from that event. And so here this will boil back down to the beginning. How do you feel about this? Do you believe in the image of democracy? Or do you believe it is an illusion? This is what will determine if you're able to live a happy life here in this country. Because if you believe in what you are told online, if you believe this, if you believe that when I stop making videos, it's because I was hurt, I stopped making videos because of ethics. Why do foreigners deserve help when local Nicaraguan people are suffering to find jobs? And I have no intention of trying to convince them of what happened. It is pointless. But I see that I seem to be one of the only Americans who will take responsibility for what we have done here. And in that way, I don't care what happens to me, because what we have done is so wrong that I don't care what the government does now. Who can blame them when you learn the history, when you see what was done to them? We mined their harbors, we lied, we found a group of bandits who used to work for the Somosas as death squads. Do you know what a death squad is? Well, it's a group of people who comes to your house and kidnaps you and kills you. They disappear people. The Somosistas, okay? We found these people who, after the overthrow, were in the countryside, in the hills, stealing cow from farmers to feed themselves. That is how poor these people were. They were bandits. That is all. There was nothing honorable about what they did. They were thugs and bandits. And you know what we did? We found them, and we financed them, and we made them rich by selling crack in our own country and destroying the lives of minorities, all with purpose. And if you do not believe me, educate yourself. Everything I have shared with you is fact. And you may not want to face this as an English speaker, especially as an American. But if you think you can come to this country and not acknowledge this historical reality, if you want to come here and complain about dictatorship, go somewhere else. It is disgusting to criticize what is happening here if you do not know the history, because it all makes sense once you educate yourself. We are in the wrong, and when I say we, I mean my people, the United States. I am a product of this. I get to come here and have a better life than the locals because of this. Because we destroyed their country again and again and again to enrich ourselves. And now there are no jobs and people are poor and the young are leaving, the old are leaving. They feel so desperate that they will go to the coyotes and pay thousands of dollars to risk their lives and be with rapists and kidnappers just for the chance to make it into the United States, the very country that has created the circumstance that they flee from. And I can tell you, I've talked to people who have lost people to this adventure. I know people who tried. They were kidnapped. You have to work with the cartels. It is horrific. Many people don't survive. It's so heartbreaking to see and to know there is nothing I can do. Because these people, they believe they are going for a better life for their family. And nobody can really know these things. It's too heavy. It's too much. It's almost unbelievable. But you can see, this is one American who says, I am sorry. I am so sorry to all of the young Nicaraguan people who struggle to find jobs, who think that their government is the problem. I am so sorry. I am sorry to all of the older Nicaraguans who know these things, but their children don't believe them. To all of the families that are ripped apart with someone moving to a foreign country so they can send money because they can't find jobs. I feel responsible for this reality. And in that way, I don't really care if something happens to me. Because at least I can be one American who takes responsibility for what we have done here. It is horrible, and we have never apologized. Do you know what's even worse? We were found guilty of crimes on 6 counts by the International Court of Justice for mining the harbor, doing all sorts of these things. We distributed the book I mentioned, The Psychological Operations of Guerrilla Warfare. And look, yes, it was Nicaraguans who tortured Nicaraguans. But I'm no idiot. I don't give a fuck who does it. I care who paid them, who taught them, who trained them. This is who is responsible, and this is my country. I don't care if we taught Nicaraguans to kill Nicaraguans. We are to blame for that, not the Nicaraguan people we abused. And this is why I can't bear to make content for foreigners anymore. It feels wrong. And so again, I am making this video so you understand. I'm okay. If you want to come live a good life in Nicaragua, you can. But you must acknowledge this history. You must understand that if you are skeptical of the government here, that is okay. But you must be skeptical of what you are told about this country. Do not think that you can take it all seriously. Even what I am telling you, research this, learn about it yourself, study these things, try to prove me wrong. See if you can. I am making this video so it is abundantly clear why. I don't want to make content that helps foreigners come live better lives here, because that is all already there. I've made all these videos. You can go watch them. If you want me to keep publishing videos so I can counter the propaganda that you're hearing, that's not my job, okay? I am not here to make a video every week so that you can have the courage to come here. If you cannot have the courage to come visit and see for yourself, go somewhere else. What I must do is build my life, take care of myself, and be good to Nicaraguan people, to give my fiancé a chance at a better life. I have seen so much trauma here. Do you know we waged war? Do you know what that means? What it means for a whole generation to be silent because there are assault rifles shooting in the street and massacres? Do you know what that means to the children of those people? I have seen the trauma, the alcoholism, the problems, and I feel responsible. I know that I didn't decide this, but I benefited from it. And it is so heartbreaking to look into Nicaraguans' eyes and hear them ask me, why on earth are you here in this shithole? It breaks my heart for young Nicaraguans to look me in the eye and be ashamed of their government and idolize the democracy of the United States, who is currently financing a genocide far, far worse than the situations that have brought me to tears here in Nicaragua. I've seen they don't know these things. They don't have the understanding of American history. And most Nicaraguans believe that the United States doesn't care about Nicaragua, that we have no reason to be involved in any way. While historically we funneled millions of dollars to social activism groups promoting violence against their own government, saying, oh, if you're a patriot, you need to rise up, you need to fight, you need to attack. This is what we have brewed. And yes, we didn't do it. No, we just sent the right messages and put the money in the right place and connected the people, and yeah. And oh, look, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'm wrong about all this. I totally could be. It could be that we took those political prisoners out of the kindness of our hearts, because we don't want political prisoners rotting in jail in some other country for something they didn't do. But I don't believe it. I think it's good we took them, because it shows we have some heart. We bailed them out for doing what we encouraged them to do. If you don't want to accept that, that's okay. But don't come to Nicaragua. Go somewhere else. Only come here if you are willing to put your skepticism of the Nicaraguan government aside and come with an open mind that's power corrupts. Absolutely. I will end this video with a quote. I'll paraphrase it. It was from a Nicaraguan during the Iran-Contra scandal, speaking of the behavior of the United States. The quote is, "If they can do this to our people now, it is only a matter of time before they themselves become the most suppressed people on earth." And I don't know if it'll quite come to that, but I know that I have an unfair life. I have a privileged life. And simply for being a foreigner who comes here, my life is easy, while locals' lives are hard. And I will do something about this. I will find a way to bring Nicaraguans the information and the training that they need to stay in this country and bring the money from the other countries to their families so they don't have to leave. I will find a way. I must. Because if I don't, nobody will. And we will let all of this go under the rug in history. I don't want that. We owe this country reparations. We vetoed it. We gave them humanitarian aid so that we could pull it away from them. And I have seen how the people in the government here work. I have interacted with many police officers because I live in the capital. I live in the city, okay? And I can tell you, most of these people are just young boys from the country. They are not trained to kill. But in my country, the police are trained to kill you. And the police violence in the United States is so horrific that if you look at the amount of police killings compared to the population of all the countries in the world, Nicaragua doesn't even show up in the first half of the list. Police here might beat up a local. They might try and get a bribe if they're alone. But they're not going to shoot you to the death. They're going to do everything in their power so that doesn't happen. That's how it should be. I have seen a government that has many problems, but at its core cares about the poor more than the corporation. And this should give you some insight into why all of this is happening. And with that, I will end this video. As I mentioned, I probably won't be making much content. I'm doing other things in my life, and it's not my responsibility to stay active so that you have the courage to come visit. Either come or go somewhere else, okay? Thanks for watching, and remember, be good to the people here. If you want to come here, find a relationship, okay. But when it gets hard, you better fucking be supportive. You better not bounce the moment a young woman starts to freak out or be emotional or have problems and traumas from their childhood, because we are responsible for this. So if you bring your ass to this country just to have sex with people and to find some young lover in your 60s or 70s, you better treat them damn well. And if you are not willing to, then get the fuck out. Don't come here if you will just abuse the woman. And I say this because I see the comments. I see people asking how to hire prostitutes. I see how people treat young Nicaraguan women, how foreigners are. This is all many reasons I have no interest in bringing this here. So if you come here for a good life, treat the people well. No matter what. It is our duty.